Hello guys and welcome to this video. I needed to put a video together today because it has just been absolutely unbearable. I've been listening to the barking the entire day. I just needed to put in the earphones and turn up some blasting music and do something. I spent the entire morning in the library because that's almost the only place here where you actually have more or less peace and quiet. But you cannot stay there forever, at some point you just have to get going and you have to eat something and go home and yeah. So it has been unbelievable. Again, so I put together a video today, I thought, which is supposed to be a bit, I don't know, it's perhaps a bit confusing or surprising, I don't know what. But it is actually about pugs. So we have already looked at pugs a few times, perhaps you remember. And what I would like to show you today are two videos on YouTube that I found on YouTube, and they're showing pugs falling asleep. Now let's have a look at the first one here. Now the first one here is called Pug Falling Asleep, very funny, by a user called Rakodox. It has 3.8 million views. It was uploaded 15 years ago, and it has more than 1,000 comments. And I mean, I didn't read all of the comments, but all of the ones I saw were actually more or less the same. We will look at a few of them after the video. So let's have a look at this here.
Too funny.
Falling asleep or something. It looks so funny from back.
Oh, yeah, I got that.
So you see, the dog is standing there, falling asleep and trying to actually remain upright. And you have people laughing there, and in the end it actually does fall asleep, but immediately wakes up again and is looking around. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, it is funny. Yeah, it's funny. Now here you have one of the many comments that were similar. My pug does the same thing, trying to find his sleepiness. It cracks me up every time. They're so entertaining and lovable. Here's another one. He's trying so hard to keep his composure. Priceless. Alright, so much about the first one. Now let's have a look at another one. Pug puppies falling asleep is too cute. So there's a channel even called Pug Collective. More than 16,000 subscribers. More than 63,000 views. Uploaded 7 years ago. Let's have a look at that. Alright, so the first one you saw was one that was falling asleep, trying to keep its head up. All of them were pugs. The second one was a pug sleeping in a cup, and the third one, or the two third ones, were in some kind of a bed, and one of them was kind of propped up on the edge of that kind of dog bed, and its head was hanging over, over the edge. And it was again trying to stand upright or remain upright while falling asleep. Here one of the typical comments: literally just died from cuteness overload. Where is my puppy? Yeah. Now, if you look at this stuff, it does look pretty cute. It's pretty funny. But perhaps you have noticed that I actually like to go below the surface and to dig a little bit deeper than just the superficial funniness and cuteness. And there was one question that I asked myself, and that was, why do these dogs actually try to remain upright when they are falling asleep? And there is a very, well, perhaps not very surprising, but there is actually a reason for that. And it didn't take me a lot of research that I had to do to find it out. And check this out. This is from a website called blackpugsite.com. So it is actually a dog keeper website. Again, nobody can tell me that I'm taking the dog haters' sources. So they are definitely trying to paint the picture as favorably as possible. So, why do pugs sleep sitting up? According to canine veterinarians, there are a few simple reasons your pug may prefer to sleep sitting up, or even standing up: breathing problems or health problems such as hip dysplasia. It could also be that your dog is just comfortable sleeping in this position, similar to how people prefer to sleep on their back, side, or on their stomach. Dogs tend to have their favorite positions too. Pug dogs are adorably cute, no one questions that. However, often that cuteness comes at a high price in terms of your pug's respiratory health. Dogs that have very short muzzles with broad, wide jawlines are called brachycephalic. The word literally translates to mean short-headed. The shorter the dog's muzzle, the shorter the respiratory passages will be, and the more cramped and crowded the jaw becomes. This means that lying down may literally deprive your pug of air. While sleeping sitting up is one of the most common weird pug sleeping positions owners have seen and photographed and posted on social media, it certainly isn't the only odd way pugs like to sleep. It may not make sense right away why your pug decides to sleep propped up against the banister, chair, table, desk, toy, dog bed, or even another pug. But once you learn more about BOS, which is brachycephalic obstructive airway syndrome, and the naturally shortened sinuses of your dog's face, it becomes easier to see how sleeping in these types of upright positions might be a good thing. Let's have a look at a few of the things that they actually say here. So why do pugs sleep sitting up? So we see they do that actually because of breathing problems or hip dysplasia. Now I'm not going into the hip dysplasia because I read that this is something that mostly old dogs tend to have. So it's probably not a problem that the puppies will have. But the second paragraph here, it could also be that your dog is just comfortable sleeping in this position. Now, that again is, you're kind of, or the people writing this article, they're deluding themselves a little bit. No dog is actually comfortable sleeping upright, standing. They're just simply physically not able to sleep in a standing position. Like wolves are not able to sleep in a standing position. They have to lie down either on their stomachs or on the sides, or even on their back. I don't know if they can sleep on their backs. It doesn't really matter. But dogs do not do not sleep standing upright, like sitting up. They just can't, they simply can't do it. Just like we humans, we can, like usually, I think 99.99% of all people cannot sleep standing upright because they would just lose their balance and just fall off. As you see in the videos anyway, you see that they're not able to keep their balance. So this is these people kind of trying to just paint over the sad reality and trying to make things look better than they are. Now the last paragraph here, pug dogs are adorably cute, no one questions that. Well, I beg to differ. However, often that cuteness comes at a high price in terms of your dog's respiratory health. Well, at least they admit that. Yeah. So even the dog advocate website admits that it is because of a problem. So looking at this kind of medical description here, so to translate that into everyday language, it just means that, as they say here in the last sentence, this means that lying down may literally deprive your pug of air. Now imagine what this is like. Imagine you, as a human, you have to stand up when you actually fall asleep, and somehow you have to try remain standing up, or at least sitting upright. And as soon as you actually start to tip over and to kind of lie flat, either on your side or on your back or on your stomach, your respiratory canals or your airways will just collapse and you cannot breathe. So it makes you wake up immediately, because that is how our body works. As soon as we start suffocating, we wake up immediately. So imagine you are dead tired, to the point of actually falling over, and every time you fall over, you start suffocating. And then you wake up again. And then you can keep yourself upright for a few seconds, or perhaps a minute, and then you start tipping over again, and then you start suffocating again. And the whole cycle just goes on and on. Now that actually sounds like torture. I mean, that would be a perfect torture method. Every time you fall asleep, you start suffocating, and then immediately your brain makes you wake up in panic because it realizes that your breathing has stopped. That is a perfect torture method. That is exactly what is happening to these dogs. If you imagine what this must be like, then that really is just animal abuse. It's just animal cruelty, nothing else. And then here they go on, while sleeping, sitting up is one of the most common weird pug sleeping positions owners have seen and photographed and posted on social media. It certainly isn't the only odd way pugs like to sleep. Now here you see again, and photographed and posted on social media. Yeah, here you see what it is all about. The social media, the narcissism, the clicks, the likes, the whatever. Unbelievable. It may not make sense right away why your pug decides to sleep propped up against a banister, chair, table, desk, toy, dog bed, or even another pug. But once you learn more about BOAS and the naturally shortened sinuses of your dog's face, it becomes easier to see how sleeping in these types of upright positions might be a good thing. Now here again, they're just trying to live in denial here again, and turning it around somehow that it actually might be a good thing. Now imagine you suffered from the condition that we've just described, that every time you actually fall asleep you start suffocating. Yeah, you would after a certain time, you would become so desperate that you would probably tie yourself to some frame, or to a to a cupboard, or I don't know what, to a chair or to a desk or to a table or anything, just that you can actually finally go to sleep without suffocating. You would probably do anything, absolutely anything, to finally be able to go to sleep. Because sleep deprivation is also, as we talked about, noise torture. Sleep deprivation is also a torture method that is actually being used by all sorts of regimes, and also different different armies and military. So sleep deprivation is one of the most painful things that you can suffer from, and after a certain time you would just do absolutely anything to be able to go to sleep. So yeah, you would actually try to sleep propped up against some object. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of natural way of sleeping for dogs. Absolutely not. Now, they are just simply so desperate to get sleep and to not suffocate during their sleep that they will just do absolutely anything which looks ridiculous to us, or kind of funny. Yeah, they're sleeping propped up against the table or against the chair. But if you know what is actually behind this weird behavior that no animal in nature will actually have, because they simply don't have banisters or chairs or tables in nature. If you know what is behind this behavior, then suddenly it's not so funny anymore. So with this knowledge, let's just have a look again at these puppies falling asleep. Let's have a look at that video again. And keep in mind that the way, or the reason why they are acting this way, is because they are desperately trying not to suffocate during their sleep. That is the reason why they are in these weird positions. The one in the cup is actually sleeping in the cup, not because, it's supposed to be cute for us, but, in the cup, and it can keep its head in a kind of elevated position so that the respiratory tract is not collapsing completely. So that's why it is actually sleeping in a cup. So if you keep that in mind, then the whole video is not that funny anymore, is it? So going back to the comments, to this comment here, for instance, my pug does the same thing trying to fight his sleepiness. Well, it's not trying to fight the sleepiness. It's trying to not suffocate. It cracks me up every time. Yeah, well, good for you. They are so entertaining and lovable. So, think about this comment now that you actually know what is behind this weird behavior of the pugs. Isn't this, and this is a person that apparently owns a pug. I mean, the person says my pug does the same thing. So this person is so absolutely incompetent as a pet owner and as a pug owner that he or she doesn't even know why the pug is doing that. But hey, it cracks me up every time. Well, good for you. Good for you. And they're so entertaining and lovable. Yeah, they're suffocating just to entertain you. You moron. Absolute moron. Here the second one is just stupid because of the anthropomorphization that we have already talked about. He's trying so hard to keep his composure. Priceless. Now the dog is not trying to keep his composure. A dog doesn't even know what composure is. It's not a human. The dog doesn't give a shit if you find it funny, or the dog doesn't have any feeling of being embarrassed or anything, but it's just trying not to suffocate. That's the pure and simple truth behind it. But this person is anthropomorphizing the dog and kind of projecting human behavior into it, which is just an incredibly low IQ thing to do. And then, the last one, literally just died from cuteness overload. Where is my puppy? Now the last sentence here, where is my puppy? I think that's exactly one of the reasons why many people actually in the end do get one of these mutants, because they just see some cute YouTube video or pseudo cute YouTube video, and yeah, why not? Yeah, just go and get one. Go and get one. Why not? And then just make an Instagram account for it, or show your dumb videos and pictures of it on Facebook, and it'll get you loads of views and clicks, of course. Absolutely. Go ahead. Film it while it is suffocating. And then title the video that, oh, look how cute it is, look how funny that is, oh my god, he's trying to keep his composure. Yeah, sure. God damn it. It's just unbelievable. These people are so incompetent. They're so ignorant, they're so incompetent. And, again, I'm not even interested in dogs. I'm not even interested in dogs. But it took me 2 minutes to find it out. Why this is a problem. It took me 2 minutes of research. And I don't even have a pug. And of course, well, good God, I don't want any. But no, these people have pets and pugs and dogs, and they don't even know the most basic things. It's just unbelievable. It's so unbelievable. Good God, really. So, guys, here is another example of the unbelievable incompetence and how widespread this incompetence and ignorance is among dog owners. And if you look at, the comments to these videos, you can find hundreds of such videos. You can look at all the comments, and you have tons and tons, thousands of people who also own these dogs, and they're just going on about, how great they are, and it's so cute, and it is so funny, and it cracks me up, blah blah blah, etc. So this is not just one or two cases, but you can easily find thousands of them. Thousands. So don't tell me that this is just, these are just a few exceptions, and so, well, apparently it's not. So, I mean, again, these people think they are animal friends and dog lovers, and they're doing everything for their pugs, and in reality they're just low IQ, dumb people who have no idea what they're doing, and it just keeps an endless cycle of suffering going. And it's irresponsible, it's cruel, and it's stupid. There's just nothing else you can say. But yeah, there is the average dog owner for you. Good God, what idiots. Okay, so enough bitching from my side. Guys, I hope you're having a good day. Have a good evening. You take care now. Bye-bye.